Tom Jiaras from the International House of Wine and Cheese, and our online company is forwinelovers.com. Welcome to our first video blog, I would call it, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about who I am and why my passion in the wine business, who the International House of Wine and Cheese is, so you get a little flavor of what we're all about. The International House of Wine and Cheese was purchased by my dad, believe it or not, in 1976. So this fall we'll be celebrating our 35th year in business. It's a really wonderful thing if you think about it, to have a single family business last 35 years. I'm very proud of that. I actually bought the business from my dad in 1990. I was in college when my dad bought the store, and I started drinking wine. I was working there in the summers. Started drinking wine, just thinking, oh, I got to learn a little bit about this business if I'm going to be here in the summers. And I got the wine passion. It bit me. It bit me really hard, and I started to really enjoy wine. Although I can tell you, the first time I decided I needed to learn how to drink red wine. And if you remember, I'm going to sidetrack a little bit here. If you go back to where Americans were in terms of wine consumption back in the 70s, Napa Valley was just really in its infancy in terms of being able to produce great wine, in the acceptance that they could produce great wine. And many Americans didn't consume wine at that point. Chardonnay was kind of a cocktail drink, and as far as fine wine went, there wasn't a lot of it out there, and there weren't that many people that were educated or understood wine. So I kind of went through that metamorphosis in America of as Napa Valley continued to improve in quality and awareness, my wine knowledge continued to improve. So it was kind of a fun thing for me into the 80s. And I started talking about the first time I decided, I remember one night I was leaving the store as a summer when I was home for college. I'm going to learn how to drink red wine tonight. I'm going to try and drink red wine. I picked a bottle of Inglenook Estate Bottled Red Zinfandel. And I remember shivering as the wine went down. And I kept saying, oh, you got to learn how to drink this stuff if you're going to be in the wine business. But anyway, we've evolved to a point where over the years, I bought my dad out in 1990. In 1991, I remodeled. I made our business twice as big, where we're about 10,000 square feet. We also have a restaurant there called the American Cafe, where we're open for breakfast and lunch. The retail liquor store, we have over 1,000 selections of wine, all kinds of we specialize in California wine, but I also want to say that we do sell spirits and single malt scotches and all kinds of spirits, beer. We have a walk-in humidor, so we're a full-service liquor store, but we do specialize in fine wine. So the wine passion got me in the 80s, and I really liked, I hung around people who knew more about me. I asked a lot of questions, but the way you really learn about wine is you drink, and that's how you learn. And I often joke that I've killed a lot of brain cells in the cause of learning, and good thing that we have millions of them to kill. So I talk about the 80s was kind of my evolution of learning about wine. The 90s, I would say, was me experiencing and traveling to wine countries all over the world. In the 90s, I traveled to France about 8 times. I went to Italy 6 times. I went to South Africa twice. I went to New Zealand, Australia, Spain. I mean, I did so much traveling, and I would go to wineries. I would learn about the wineries. I'd talk to the winemaker. I'd have lunch in their homes sometimes, out to dinner with them, and you learn so much. And it became, for me, it became my life, and that's what wine is. So I've been fortunate enough to be in this business. I've learned a lot, I've tasted a lot, I've had lots of unbelievable experiences. But the evolution of somebody like me in the business, you learn about the wine, you drink the wine, you understand, you can communicate what you're drinking into words. It's a hard thing to do, but you learn how to communicate what you're tasting. And the next step is to match wine and food. And wine really is something that's meant to be consumed with food. So think about it in those terms often. If you have a wine you like it, what food would go? What flavors would go well with this? Anyway, that happened all through the 90s. This has been a decade at the International House where we specialize in events. We do all kinds of wine events. We do wine dinners. We commission or work out a deal with a restaurant where they'll put together a great menu around 8 wines with dinner, 7 or 8 wines with dinner. And we also do a pre-dinner wine tasting of usually between 12 and 18 wines. It's a unique format, but I find it works. The people have a great time. We'll do about 30 to 40 wine events a year. Sometimes we'll do tastings in our store. And you should be a part of our family with all this. If you're interested in doing it, you can email us at events, events, at forwinelovers.com. And we hope that you do that. You become a part of the International House and For Wine Lovers family. That's it for today. I'll see you again soon. Thanks.